On July 20th, 1969, a $7,400 watch strapped over a spacesuit sleeve touched lunar dust and rewrote watchmaking history. That same reference still trades within 10% of retail today. Meanwhile, a $30,000 watch worn by Formula One drivers bleeds 50% of its value the second it leaves the boutique. Both sit on this list: 5 watches that incinerate your money and 5 that reward every dollar. One rule separates the two sides, and it rewrites how you shop watches. Number 5, Tag Heuer Carrera. Walk past any pawn shop in America and you'll see the same watch in the window. Tag Heuer Carrera, every time. That's not coincidence, that's a warning. The Carrera retails between $2,500 and $4,000. Now count the variants on a dealer's shelf. Over 40 color combos, 20 case sizes, fresh limited editions every month. When a luxury watch comes in more flavors than Ben & Jerry's, exclusivity dies. Every variant runs the same Sellita SW 200 caliber, the movement in sub-$1,000 watches from brands you've never heard of. Authorized dealers offer 20 to 30% off before you sit down. Therefore, the sticker price was never real. Flip yours after 12 months and wave goodbye to 40% of your cash. The next brand pulls the same trick with a much weirder origin story. Number 4, Bell & Ross B03-92. Take a square watch, bolt 4 screws to each corner, paint it matte black, and charge $5 grand. That's the Bell & Ross recipe. However, the line still forms outside the boutique every morning. The BR03 diver sells for 3,700 to 5,400 euros. The design copies a fighter jet cockpit gauge. Inside spins a Sellita SW300-1 in a Labor grade, the second cheapest tier Sellita offers. The same caliber powers a Christopher Ward Sealander, selling for $800. In 1992, 2 university students started Bell & Ross as a class project in France. Neither was a trained watchmaker. They outsourced design, outsourced the movement, and charged luxury prices from day one. The plan worked embarrassingly well. Pre-owned BR03s trade around $2,800 on Chrono24. 40% of your money gone in year 1. But the next brand openly discounts its own new watches before you ask. Number 3, Breitling Navitimer B01. 2 Breitling Navitimers sit inside the same Chicago auction house glass case. The 1956 original sells for over $8,000. The 2024 model next to it struggles to clear $4,000. Same brand, same dial, wildly different fates. The modern B01 chronograph retails at $10,300. Pre-owned examples trade at $5,000 to $6,000 on watch charts. Half your money dies on the walk to the parking lot. The motor itself deserves respect. Breitling builds the B01 in-house with a 70-hour power reserve, 47 jewels, and a column wheel chronograph. But the brand undermines itself at retail. Dealers discount new Navitimers at 25 to 30% off before you ask. Therefore, the sticker price was always a costume. However, vintage 806 Navitimers from the 1950s climb in value year after year. Those are worth chasing. One forum post from a Hublot owner is coming up. That one stings. Number 2, Hublot Big Bang Unico. Remember the forum collector from the opening? In his final post before selling his Hublot at a $1,400 loss, he wrote one line that cut through every piece of Hublot marketing. It bugged him that he paid over $5 grand for a watch with a $200 ETA motor. Thousands of Hublot owners recognize that burn. The Big Bang Unico retails between $20,000 and $30,000. Ceramic and steel versions shed 40 to 50% crossing the boutique door. Hublot engineers depreciation into the business model. Want cold data? A luxury market group tracks the Value Dynamics Index across watch brands. Big Bang scored 0.48. King Power landed at 0.36. Rolex sport models score above 1.00 because they appreciate. Hublot lives in the opposite universe. But Hublot still looks reasonable next to the biggest ripoff on this list. Number 1, Richard Mille RM016. The founder sat down for a published interview and described his own watches as a razor blade between gimmickry and amazement. Gimmickry, that was his exact word choice on the record. Buyers still wait 3 years for the privilege. Richard Mille sells the RM016 starting at $60,000. The RM011 Felipe Massa runs around $200,000. The RM56-02 Tourbillon Sapphire lists at roughly $2 million for a single watch. The business model runs on manufactured rarity. Mille produces only around 3,600 watches a year on purpose. Dealers run empty cases, and celebrities get locked into multi-year waiting lists. Supply is artificially choked, therefore demand multiplies. Under the case back sits the supporting crime. The RM016 runs a Vaucher RMA S7 caliber that Vaucher supplies to brands making watches under $10,000. Standard Richard Milles dropped 20 to 40% off pandemic peak prices through 2025. Buy at 100 grand today, and 18 months later, you're 30,000 lighter. The founder saw it coming and said so out loud. Now the list flips. Number 5, Casio G-Shock DW5600. A $99 plastic watch has stayed in continuous production for over 40 years without a major redesign. No luxury brand on earth matches that track record. The Casio G-Shock DW5600 sells for under $100. Combat soldiers wear them on duty. NASA strapped them to ISS astronauts. Guess the price tag on a resume like that? Still under $100. Engineer Kikuo Ibe conceived the G-Shock in 1981 after he bumped into a pedestrian and shattered the mechanical watch his father gave him. 2 years and over 200 destroyed prototypes later, he cracked the design in 1983. He called the target 1010, survive a 10-meter drop, handle 10 bars of water, run a battery for 10 years. The final design exceeded every benchmark. It survives 3-story falls, handles 200 meters of water, and keeps time within 15 seconds a month. Casio has sold over 130 million units across 4 decades. The original 1983 module still powers the DW5600 today. 40 years of zero obsolescence at $99. Try getting that from a Swiss watchmaker. A $275 Seiko collectors hide in their drawers is next. Number 4, Seiko 5 Sports SRPD. A huge chunk of rich watch collectors keep a quiet little Seiko in the drawer next to the Rolex and the Patek. They rarely admit it, and there's a specific reason. The Seiko 5 Sports retails at $275 to $350. Inside ticks a 4R36 automatic with 24 joules, hacking seconds, hand winding, and a 41-hour power reserve. That spec list belongs to watches 5 times the money. The 5 Sports inherited DNA directly from the legendary SKX007, which Seiko discontinued in 2019 to a collector funeral. Modern internals, lower retail price, 100-meter case. One detail explains the value. Seiko produces its own hairsprings, mainsprings, movements, cases, and dials in-house. Almost no other brand on earth controls the supply chain that deeply. Therefore, a $300 Seiko 5 carries the build quality of watches 3 times the price. Paratroopers wore the next watch into Normandy in 1944. It costs under $600 today. Number 3, Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical 38 millimeters. Hamilton built field watches for American paratroopers who jumped into Normandy on D-Day in 1944. Today, the brand sells a $595 hand-wound watch that would still fit on a soldier's wrist. Every independent watchmaker on earth respects what Hamilton is doing at that price. The piece is the Khaki Field Mechanical 38 millimeters. Inside spins the TA2801-2, the hand-wind cousin of the 2824-2, one of the most serviced movements in horological history. Parts cost almost nothing. Every shop on earth knows the movement. Regulated properly, it holds +2 to -6 seconds per day, beating watches 5 times the money. The 38 millimeter case fits any wrist. Cream-colored lume carries vintage warmth without crossing into costume. Sapphire crystal and 50 meters of water resistance for $595. Hamilton has been building watches in Pennsylvania since 1892 and stayed on U.S. Army supply lists through both World Wars. However, the runner-up on this list walked on the moon. Number 2. Omega Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch. On July 20th, 1969, a watch strapped over a spacesuit sleeve touched lunar dust for the first time in human history. The first timepiece ever worn on another world was not a Rolex. It was the Omega Speedmaster Professional, and you can still buy the exact reference today. Omega retails the Speedmaster Professional at $7,400. Buzz Aldrin wore his during the first moonwalk on Apollo 11. But the real story is Neil Armstrong. He left his Speedmaster inside the lunar module as a backup because the Eagle's electronic timer had malfunctioned. NASA records confirm the timeline. Inside ticks the hand-wound caliber 3861 movement. Meta's certified it as a master chronometer that shrugs off magnetic fields up to 15,000 Gauss, around 150 times the shielding of most luxury watches. Pre-owned Speedmasters trade within 10 to 15% of retail. Rolex tier retention on a non-Rolex. The design hasn't changed since 1957 because Omega nailed it on the first try. One watch still outvalues the Moonwatch on cold math alone. Number 1. Tudor Black Bay 58. Defend one luxury watch using pure math. No brand loyalty, no personal taste, only cold receipts. Every honest answer lands on the same watch. Tudor sells the Black Bay 58 at $3,800 to $4,400. Inside beats the MT5402, a COSC certified in-house automatic with 70-hour power reserve and silicone hairspring. Competing brands charge $8,000 to $10,000 for that engineering. Tudor opened in 1926 under Hans Wilsdorf, the same founder who built Rolex. The 58 in the name points to 1958, the year Tudor launched its first 200-meter dive watch. Snowflake hands, gilt dial, riveted bracelet, every cue pulled from old Tudor submariners that auction rooms chase today. Pre-owned BB58s trade within 5 to 10% of retail. Tudor depreciation runs 6.6% in year 1 and just 0.7% every year after. Now stack those numbers against the opening. $5,000 at the Hublot boutique leaves you with roughly $3,000 after a year. The same $5,000 on a Tudor leaves you sitting on $4,700 over the identical 12 months. Same money, same risk time, $1,700 of pure difference. That math is why serious collectors buy Tudors quietly, and loud people keep buying Hublots. If any brand on this list shocked you, drop your story in the comments below. Tap the next video on your screen for more breakdowns just like this. Subscribe for more.